Welcome to Lesson 2 of Part 1 of the Agility Form Studio overview within the WiSys Form Studio video training series. Today we are going to discuss some common capabilities of a form. First, I'm going to open our Agility mobile application. And if you recall from our first lesson, when you run it on a PC like this, we call this Emulator Mode. Here are some standard forms under our Distribution tab, and I'm going to open the PO Receiving application, which is a very common form used by lots of WiSys users. Every form typically has multiple fields for either capturing data or displaying data, along with buttons used to interact with the form by clearing fields of data, closing the form, or transacting the data within Macola. Data can be entered into a form by scanning a barcode, and I just happen to have a printout of a PO here, so I'm going to scan the PO number. And as you can see, it fills the form in with the data entered for the order number, which is an entry field, and then the vendor name is a display field that just displays information that was retrieved when the order number was entered and validated. Here I'm going to use the clear button to clear this information. And this time, I'm going to type in the order number. And as you can see, that works as well. So I've scanned the order number, and I've typed it in. There's also a third option. Anytime you see these three little dots, are commonly called ellipses. Anytime you see the ellipsis, those can be clicked, and it will bring up a list of open POs. So I can scroll through the list and find my PO61 here and select it as well. Again, it will stop at the next field, prompting for data input. Fields on forms follow a sequence from top of the form down. Therefore, one would never enter a manufacturer's lot or a lot and then go back up to the top of the form for an order. It's a sequential flow top to bottom. So now I'm going to scan an item. And I've added an item that a bin doesn't exist for. So the form's going to interact with the user and ask if they'd like to add the record. So we're going to say yes. As you can see, there's more. Once we've added the item, there's more information brought back about that item. That is called validation. Each form has multiple points where you can add data validation to make sure to look up and retrieve data associated with an item that or a field on the form that was just entered, or it can also validate that the user is entering good information. So I'm going to use my clear button here to clear the form, and as you can see, the clear stopped and it cleared the bin and stopped there. These are called clear stops. These are defined when you design the form, and it's a common feature for the form. I'm going to hit clear again to clear back to my item. And if I were to enter an item that's not valid, it's going to turn the field red and tell me that's not a valid data input. That is a common feature to a form. If I hit clear again and I do the same thing up here, it's going to tell me that that order doesn't exist. So field validation and data validation to make sure users are entering correct information is another common feature of a form. So I'm going to scan my order. I'm going to scan an item. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but some of the fields disappeared. So if I clear this form again, you'll notice that my form has the remaining, it has a bin, a lot field, a manufacturer's lot field. The item that I just scanned for Bolt is not a binned or lotted item. So those fields are hidden from the form once the item is validated. That is another common feature of a form. Bin and lot fields can be exposed or hidden based on the type of item that's being entered. So I'm going to try to receive 500 pieces here, and I'm going to hit my Save button. Again, another common feature of the form is formulas. That what's happening behind the scenes here is there's a formula that says the user has entered more than what is remaining to receive. Are you sure you want to do this? That is another way to prevent a user from making a mistake. So I'm going to click No here. And another feature of a form is this printer icon. And this is where you can define a printer that goes with a form that could be printed as part of the transaction that happens on the form. These forms are tied to documents within our Agility document management system. That our document management system is covered in other videos. So here I can assign a printer. To my form. I'll do the same for the other form and close. So now if I decide to receive 100 pieces and save, the transaction executes. And now I have successfully executed a transaction using a form. So just a quick review of common features of a form. There's data entry fields, there's display fields, there's lookup functionality, there's validation to ensure users are entering accurate data, there's formulas for calculations to make sure that quantities and numeric values are not too high or too low. There's button functionality to clear forms, to close forms, and to transact Macola transactions, and there's printing functionality. These are all common features of forms. And this concludes Lesson 2.